Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Tuesday, July 23rd, 2019. Another day of baseball. Tomorrow will be golf day as well. Let's start off by going over yesterday's games and then get to today's games. So, the Red Sox beat the Rays. The Red Sox had a little narrative. It was similar to the Rays narrative, but the Rays narrative I thought was a bit better. So, the big thing we looked at yesterday was that had the Red Sox lost, they would have become 23-23 in the AL East on the 23 date. Either team, though, the Rays or the Red Sox, could have been stuck on 23 wins in the AL East, and either team could have stayed on 41 losses versus the AL. I thought it was more likely the Red Sox would be the team to lose so that they could become 23-23. Wasn't so, but I do think the Rays still have a good narrative to win 2 out of 3. So we'll look more at today's game. The Cardinals look good to win the series. It's got out of order from the way we decoded the games yesterday. Oh, it's because the one game got rained out. We talked about the Cardinals and Pirates splitting today and tomorrow. That's because the Pirates can now become 24-24 today, which will be a date with 24 numerology. The Cardinals are on 24 away wins. They can stay there. If the Cardinals won the series and lost only one game, Schilt would exit the series. The manager of the Cardinals was 76 losses. Pittsburgh is 76. Also, as I mentioned yesterday, when we're seeing managers and pitchers, when their distance in days from birthday to the game lines up with a certain team name, that team is losing a lot more often than not. Yesterday, the Pirates pitcher Williams, it was 88 days from his birthday. Pirates is 88. And his team did lose. So I got to stop ignoring what I know. Caller?
What's going on, Zach?
Just starting the live stream.
7 for 7, man. We did the banners. That was a lot. And then remember with the Houston, with the Minute Maid Park. And then yesterday with Boston, it was 22/7, so 22 times 7 is 154. Boston Red Sox equals 154. So I just didn't say nothing on that one because that was kind of like abstract. But you know. Who you like today?
Well, I'm just starting the live stream.
Oh, okay. My bad. Then I'll let you finish up then. Just one more thing. Just don't pay attention to the MLBNs today too, because remember that happened with Seattle too with the 41. So.
Right, 41. All right. Thanks, man.
All right, man. Have a good day.
See you. Okay. So anyhow, good chance these teams do split the first 2 games like we thought. The narrative would be in the Pirates' favor today. Lost a close one in extra innings yesterday. Had the Pirates went down yesterday, the date numerology seemed to line up a little bit better for the Cardinals to lose. But again, like I said, if you wanted to be safe, you could wait till today and see which way the split's going to go. The Blue Jays picked up their 213th loss versus the Indians yesterday, and it was 213 days after the Indians starting pitcher's birthday, which was interesting. And again, it looked good for the Indians to win this series. I advised I'd bet the Indians to win the series because they should get to at least 59 wins. Toronto Blue Jays 59. They get one more win. They win the series. Cleveland is a significant favorite to win the series, but the numbers were there to support it. The Blue Jays' one narrative to win yesterday was that they could have made the Indians 4-1 versus the Blue Jays on the 41 date numerology. But a lot of times when the pitcher's birthday points to a certain number in the series that can hit, like the 213th loss, that seems to be pretty consistent as well. Okay, the Reds and the Brewers. We talked about how if the Reds got the win, it would make a lot of sense for the starting pitcher. He did not get the decision, but he could have improved to 6-6 in Cincinnati 66. The starting pitcher for Milwaukee, his record made sense with a win or a loss. Cincinnati did take that one. And we'll talk more about today's game in a little bit. The White Sox had a really strong narrative to win through Nova. Nova had a record that made a whole lot of sense. Could have picked up his 83rd win on the 23 date, 83 the 23rd prime. Could have become 5-9 on the season. Miami Marlins 59, and he did do that. And the only riddle for the Marlins to upset yesterday was that Renteria, the manager of the White Sox, he could have got his 337th all-time loss, the 68th prime. Yesterday had 68 date numerology. But like I said, those are the types of things that have screwed me up with the manager historically, which is why I typically don't even try to look at it. And I like to lead with the pitcher because the Nova record made a whole lot of sense. Also, the White Sox look good to win 2 out of 3 in this series, win the series. So just need one more to do that. The Astros had all 3 of the primary date numerologies going for them yesterday, so they look good. They won 11-1. The Twins looked pretty good to beat the Yankees yesterday, and Twins also look good to win the series. They win one more game, they will achieve that. There was a lot more that lined up for the Twins yesterday than the Yankees. And let me see here. Sabathia did become 5-5 in Minneapolis. Again, that 55 in Minneapolis really plays. So the Diamondbacks look good to beat the Orioles yesterday, and I do believe they'll be good to beat them again today. If they beat them today, the Orioles will fall to 3-9 versus the NL. Orioles 39, Arizona 39. So we'll look more at that. The Giants, the one thing they had going yesterday was Bochy, the manager. It was 97 days after his birthday, the 25th prime. Like I said yesterday, these 97 and 25 keep showing up for the Giants, and they keep winning. And they did it again. The Cubs yesterday did have a chance at their 13th win versus the NL West on the 41 date, 41 the 13th prime. It didn't really seem like that 41-13 thing played yesterday, unfortunately, but that Bochy Giants magic number was there. Caller?
Hello, Zach.
Hello.
See, I'm calling from Houston. I wanted to let you know a couple of things about that tribute to Apollo 11 game yesterday. So the Astros scored. So for the tribute to Apollo 11, the Astros managed to score 11 runs. Garrett Cole got his 11th win. Garrett Cole got 11 strikeouts. And the rookie phenom Jordan Alvarez hit his 11th home run.
Huh. And
so I just wanted.
And they got their 65th win, which breaks down to 11 in numerology, 6 + 5. So for one more 11, yeah, great eyes.
It's just amazing that they do things like that.
Sure. Yeah, great.
So I just
eyes.
wanted to call. Yeah, I just wanted to call and let you know.
All right, appreciate that, man. I didn't catch that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, good work.
Bye.
Yeah. And yesterday you had the NASA-related death, and you also had the Indian moon mission takeoff, last day of Cancer. Yeah, that is a lot of 11s. And it was just so weird. I mean, I don't know if there might have been one other game this year where all 3 of the date numerology lined up for a single team. That was the interesting thing as well. It's like that game was just made to be. All right, so anyway, shouldn't have been doubting Bruce Bochy and the Giants with that 25-97. I said it yesterday, man. They keep winning with those numbers. I just didn't see anything else, but I guess that's all it took. So Giants did stay on 9 losses versus the NL yesterday. Again, 23 date, 9th prime. And they stayed on 27 home losses versus the Cubs. They'd have to sweep the series to do that. I don't know if that's going to happen. So that would surprise me. Bumgarner's back on the mound tonight, too. And then the Rangers and the Mariners. Again, Moore looked good for the Mariners yesterday, but I did say use caution on this game because the Mariners have blown some good riddles this year. But I think the one that was really the sign was that it was the 666th game, the number of the beast, and beast equals 47, and Seattle by winning improved to 4-7 versus the Rangers this year. So Gonzalez for the Mariners, he was the scare because he had quite a few things going against him that would make sense with a loss. But Sampson also had a record that made sense with a loss. We've seen a lot of pitchers do the 6-7 thing in T-Mobile Park, and here's another one. So that 6-7, 67, that's been hitting in T-Mobile Park all year. And the Rangers did fall to 50-50. T-Mobile Park's 50 and 67. So it was an okay day. It was an okay day. I wish the Rays beat the Red Sox. Thought that 23-23 would hit. But it's okay. We still got the majority of them right. So that said, let's get to today's games. July 23rd, 2019, the primary date numerology 62, 42, 24. And that does mean that in the Astros game, all three of the date numerologies are going to go for the Astros again. It's the same scenario as yesterday because they won yesterday. So the whole series can go this way for the Astros. All three date numerologies lining up. I don't think I've ever seen that before for an entire series. It's the 204th day of the year, leaving 161 days remaining. 161 like 5, the golden ratio 1.61. It's the first day of Leo. Leo's got Gematria 13, 40, 13, 14, 32, 49. Oops, this is supposed to say Tuesday. I got the Gematria for Tuesday, but I forgot to write in the word. Okay, so the Rockies and Nationals game got rained out yesterday, so it changed the perspective I had for the series. The Nationals' next loss versus the National League is number 43. Colorado's 43. Tomorrow will be a date with 43 numerology. Strasburg, he's been winning. Let's look more carefully. Hold on, what time is it? Oh, good. All the games start late today too. Okay, no rush. Okay, we got plenty of time, so we'll take our time here. Try to get as many right as possible. Steven Strasburg. I want to look at his splits versus the Rockies. And okay. He's 5-4 versus the Rockies with a 4.07 ERA. Now Rockies equals 46 and 64. You know what else? It actually does equal 55 too if you use the rule with No, it doesn't. I take it back. I'm wrong about that. Here, let me be extra sure. I don't want to be miscounting. So Rockies is 46 when you use the rule in reverse with the E, because E can become 22. The master numerology you don't have to reduce. But yeah, it's just 46, 64. Okay. So we could improve to 6-4 versus them. And Nationals Park. All right, I want to see what his record is at home. 48 and 29. That's interesting. So his next win there is number 49. Washington's 49. He has 77 decisions there. This will be his 120th game. 829. Yesterday would have been the perfect day to get that 49th win, but he wasn't on the mound yesterday. Yesterday was 227, the 49th prime. All right. Oh, whoops. This doesn't matter anymore. So they play, I don't know if they're, actually, I'm not sure if they're doing a makeup game or not in this series, but we talked about how Bud Black lost 3 games. It was a 4-game series at first. It might be down to a 3-game series. If Black lost 3 games, he'd get to 202 losses. Again, that's the DC area code. The Nationals are 43 and 56 at home against the Rockies. If they lost today, they'd go into tomorrow still on 43 wins on the 43 date. Again, Colorado's 43. Is Rockies? If the Rockies lost 2 in a row, no, hold on. Let me see again the National stats. The Nationals, whoops, I need the advanced stats. Nationals are 5 and 11 versus the Central. $34, 44 wins, 31, 42 losses. So they're on 42 losses, and today has the 42 date. I should put it here. It's interesting how that 43 could play either way. Let me see who's on the mound for them tomorrow. Tomorrow seems like a little bit better day for the Nationals to lose, especially since Strasburg's. Oh, okay, they are going to end up playing all 4 games because they're having a doubleheader tomorrow. And then, so Bud Black could still lose 3 games, which would, if he 3 out of 4, that means 75% losing chance if that is true. Yeah, Strasburg's just been so dominant lately. Let me go back and look at his stats again with ESPN. Steven Strasburg, stats ESPN. It's the last time his team got a loss when he was pitching. June 15th. So now it's, oh, interesting. It's 38 days later. Huh. That's that Colorado number. All right. And let's see who he would pitch against next. All right. 1. So he'll likely face the Dodgers next. That's interesting that he'll likely face the Dodgers next. That was at home. Because we know LA's 13, but it is also 14. And I should have my cheat sheet up here. 1 second. All right. Dodgers. Nationals. 12-4. We don't know who both pitchers are tomorrow, so it makes that a little bit tricky. I guess I could look at the stats from the one pitcher's perspective, John Gray. Caller?
Hey, Zach, I was wondering if you've ever heard of doing Gematria without the vowels.
Somebody's called in to mention that in my radio show, yeah?
Have you tried it?
I haven't personally done it, but it'd be one more thing to look into. I do think it's an interesting idea. So.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of basic stories about it, that it's just like gonna be a whole big change. And maybe it would help your sports.
Well, I'll have to take a look and see.
Okay.
All right.
Good.
All right. Thank you. All right. Bye. Well, I could ask Derek if he'd be willing to make a cipher where it didn't count the vowels. Probably wouldn't be too much to create that cipher. It's possible. 0-2, 0-2. So this guy, he's 0-2 at Nationals Park, and he's 0-3 versus the Nationals. He hasn't pitched well, only 18 innings, but he has an 8.2 ERA. What did I just see about? Hold on. So notice Washington Nationals is 107. Again, John Gray's on the mound tomorrow. If he won, he'd be 10-7, and then the Nationals would pick up their 43rd loss versus the National League on the 43 day, and Colorado's 43 as well. So maybe this is the game the Nationals lose right here. And let me see, do they have any pitcher up for game 2? Freeland and Corbin. National, the singular, I'm pretty sure is 76. But yeah, this one right here makes sense for the Rockies to upset. Be nice if we had the Nationals pitcher too, but just on the surface, 10-7, like 107. So Strasburg probably keeps it going tonight, going to LA with 13 wins. Rockies. All right. The Cardinals and Pirates game. Hudson with a loss would do the prime number relationship thing, but again, there hasn't been a whole lot of consistency to that with the pitchers. Archer 60-77, 6-9 with Pittsburgh, 3-6 on the season. If the Pirates do win today, again, they'll even up their record at 24-24 on the 24-date numerology. They'd also stay at 24 losses versus the NL Central and keep the Cardinals at 24 wins. The most concerning thing is that if the Pirates lost, they'd be 4-7 versus the Cardinals, and St. Louis is 47 and Pirates is 74. St. Louis is also 74. From the Cardinals' perspective, they would be 7-4. So let me look a little bit more at Archer's numbers and see how he's done against the Cardinals. Did that work? Color?
I like the Nationals to win, Zach. Steven Strasburg, this next game he pitches on Saturday. Saturday equals 107. He gets 107 overall wins, Zach.
Okay. Yeah, he's been on a roll, so I think it makes more sense for them to win too, especially since it looks like that John Gray has a good riddle to win tomorrow.
Yeah, and then wasn't it a 57 with the Dodgers?
Huh?
Isn't it a 57 with the Dodgers? Like, is it a 57 in Gematria with the Dodgers?
I don't think so.
No.
Mm-mm.
Because his next loss is 57. So
Nationals is 57.
Yeah, I like him to walk in Saturday with a 107. So.
Okay.
All right, that's all I wanted.
All right, appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay. So Archer he has no decisions against the Cardinals, a pretty good ERA, 2.82. He has 4 starts. And what's his record at PNC? He's 4-5 at PNC. Here, let me check who's pitching tomorrow too, because I'm thinking Pittsburgh's only going to win one in this series. Jordan Lyles, Adam Wainwright come in 6-7. Pittsburgh 67-2. They don't play Thursday, or they do. They do actually. If Joe Musgrove lost, he'd be 7-9. PNC Park 79. Pirates is 88 though. Okay. So again, I like the way the 24 stacks, like I was talking about yesterday. Just the one thing I don't like is how they could be 4-7 versus the Cardinals. It's interesting that Pittsburgh is the favorite too in this game because Hudson's pitched well, and the Cardinals are a better team than the Pirates this year. Well, that is an interesting line. Let me check out Hudson real quick versus the Pirates. He's 1-0 versus the Pirates with a 2.45 ERA. He's 1-0 at PNC Park. Didn't pitch a lot of innings, 3.2, no runs given up. Hold on, let me check something else. Pittsburgh Pirates, PNC Park. And Cardinals. St. Louis Cardinals is 88 like Pirates too. Yeah, the 24 and 24 is hard to go against. At 4 and 7 though, I'd still lean towards the 24 and 24. Check the division records one more time too. Caller.
Hey, Zach, I'm just calling in reference to how you've seen a lot of 24s for Pittsburgh Pirates today.
Uh-huh.
And so, of course, I go on news. I know how it's a big web, of course, as we know. Also, especially with weather engineering, who knows if they could cause effing sinkholes or whether they just sink them up, no pun intended, later on. But there was a sinkhole by Pittsburgh on CBS News.
Huh.
And then all I put in was 6 Pittsburgh News to see if there was a number 6 that come up. It didn't take long for the newscaster to bring up a 60-foot wide hole and a 60-foot deep hole. She said 60 feet wide, 60 feet deep. I said, Jesus Christ, because 24, of course, reduces down 2 plus 4 is 6.
Sure.
So just wanted to see what your thoughts were on, like, when there's weather stuff like that, if it goes in favor of them or goes against them.
Well, that's an interesting observation. Yeah, I couldn't say anything definitive on that, but a recent example of something like that was the day of the Mariners and Angels tribute game to Tyler Skaggs, the first game in Los Angeles. That morning, the big story in LA, or the big story in Seattle, was that there was a 4.6 earthquake in the area, and then no hitter equals 46, and LA Angels 46, and the Angels even their record at 46.
46 and 46.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. You were breaking up for a second, but I knew you were going to say it was both 46. Yeah, I heard all those 24s, but I know 47 and 74 can never be overlooked. But there was a similar story with there was like a manhole fire 29 days before Tisha B'Av on Fox 29 News right next to the Philadelphia area.
Huh.
And the Philadelphia Phillies ended up going on to lose that game. But now that you're saying that Angels reference, I think that's a sign. I'm going to go Angels today and Pirates, $20 parlay.
Oh, what are you going on the Angels for today?
For the Angels, let me see if I could bring up notes for that. So Angels, the Los Angeles Angels can pick up the 69th all-time against the Dodgers on a date with 69 numerology and bring cancer. So,
I thought you were saying you saw a news story that had you going that way. That's what I was wondering about. Okay.
Oh, no, I was just saying in reference to 29 days before Tisha B'Av on Fox 29 News, the Philadelphia Phillies ended up losing. Manhole fire equaled 106 and 191, and Philadelphia Phillies equals 106 and 191. And I was amazed because 106 usually comes through, and then they ended up losing. So,
good observations.
Angels is what I'm going with. Just because you mentioned the Angels, I do organic stuff like that sometimes. You brought them up, so I was like, yeah.
They have a good history against the Dodgers too. They actually have a winning record against the Dodgers. So.
Right. Yeah. I hope that doesn't mess up things for when I want to. When we get to the playoffs, I'm going all Yankees, all Dodgers, all the way through.
You like that blackout riddle?
Yeah, Blackout Riddle's really nice. I don't know if you know World Decoded on whatchamacallit, the Instagram page, World Decoded Now, World_Decoded_now. We're in a group chat. I mentioned you before on Instagram, and he did a really outstanding job mentioning all that. And then there was that game where the Philadelphia Phillies, I really like them for a prospect. Like you said, that was your first thought on that riddle for the World Series. I won't keep you too much longer, but that one game was 16-2, like 162. And then I think it was a date with 57 numerology, like championship. So I think if the Phillies win their division, I feel like they'll go all the way. If they don't, they'll probably just lose to the Dodgers. That's my thoughts on the World Series. But
yeah, you could be right about that. All right, man. Appreciate it.
Cool, man. Yep.
All right, thanks. Okay. So, again, one more 24 for the Pirates is that they could stay on 24 losses in the Central, too. There's just so many 24s that go in favor of the Pirates today. So they have 36 wins versus the NL, 49 losses. Their next loss versus the NL is 50. Pittsburgh's 50. And tomorrow will be a date with a lesser numerology of 50. And then St. Louis, they're at 46 wins versus the NL. Again, the overlap number is 47. St. Louis, 47. Pirates, 47. They have 40 losses. So the concern is that if St. Louis wins, then the 4-7-7-4 thing comes through for their record for the year. But I still just like the 24 more. Wish the date numerology was a bit more consistent right now, but still, that's just so much 24 on the 24 date. All right, let's see here. The Indians and the Blue Jays. Again, the Indians looked good to win this series, get to at least 59 wins, and they could get to 59 today. It's a 69 date, and Bauer's going for his 69th career win. He's 9-7 for the season. Sanchez could get his 34th career loss. Indians is 34. And the thing that could go against the Indians today is the Indians are on 41 losses. If they lost, they would pick up their 42nd on the 42 date. The Indians are also on 36 losses versus the AL. If they didn't lose, it's possible they could sweep this series too and stay on 36. Big Toronto number. Indians are 14-8 versus the AL East. So let me see here. I got to remind myself that the Indians are the team that twice in recent weeks where something's lined up for the pitchers on both sides for the game to go a certain way, and it didn't go that way in either game. But I believe both those games the Indians took, and they've been on a tear. So let's see here. Indians. $52 wins, 36 losses. And again, Blue Jays, 36 wins, 53 losses. Jays. Center. Oh, 66. I was looking. What was I saying about 66? No, it's not that. Caller?
Hey, Zach, how you doing?
Doing all right. How are you?
Happy belated birthday, by the way.
Thanks, man.
So I just want to ask you a quick question. One thing I noticed. So the last time that the Dodgers won the World Series was in 1988.
Right.
And in that season, on opening day, there was like a home run record that was broken.
Okay.
I think it was the most home runs in a game on opening day. And this year, the Dodgers broke that record on opening day.
So in 88, most home runs on opening day?
Yeah, the most home runs on the opening day.
Uh-huh.
The Mets broke that record in '88 playing against Montreal. And this year, the Dodgers broke that record on opening day.
I didn't know that. That's a good observation.
Yeah, so I just wanted to tell you that and basically see, where you could take that if it meant anything or anything.
Sure. Okay, so they broke a New York record. Yeah, that's very interesting. I'll look more into that.
Yeah, so it was the Dodgers versus the Diamondbacks this year on opening day. And then the one in '88 was the Mets versus the Expos.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, nice work. Thanks, man.
Have a good one.
Okay. So, again, the one riddle for the Blue Jays to upset today is right here. Giving the Indians their 42nd loss on the 42 date. But good day for Bauer to pick up his 69th win. And I'm seeing that Rogers Center is 69 too, where the game's at. So and I suppose you could make sense of Sanchez also becoming 33 and 33 if he did upset, just because it's Cleveland. Cleveland's 33. I've seen that 34 play a whole lot with the Indians this year. So be nice if we had a better read for the Blue Jays, just because they're the better payout. But yeah, there's better games. Okay, the Red Sox and the Rays. I do think the Rays are going to win the next two games in this series and get to 59. They play the Toronto Blue Jays next. They go in with 59. Toronto Blue Jays 59. Let's see here. So Chirinos comes in 8-5. Again, big Boston numbers. Boston 85, Red Sox 85. And the Rays are yet to win one at home. I think that ends today. They're 0-4 at home. Tampa Bay Rays is 43, 14th prime. They can become 1-4 at home versus the Red Sox. So that seems due. And the Rays can get their 24th win in the AL today and keep the Red Sox against the AL East. I mean, 24th win against the AL East and keep the Red Sox at 24 wins. Also, with regards to the 42 date, the Rays can stay at 42 losses versus the AL and give the Red Sox their 42nd loss versus the AL. So I think the Rays get it done today. I just noticed something that I should have mentioned yesterday. Red Sox next loss is 47. Tampa Bay is 47. So that would be the riddle for the Red Sox to only lose one in the series. But I like how the date numerology lines up for the Rays today. And I also like them becoming 1-4 at home because, again, that 43's played a lot this year for the Rays. 43 is the 14th prime. So that seems like it's all very due. So taking the Rays in that game. You know what? Something else I'm thinking about is it is the 23rd of the month. 23rd of the month, 9th prime. Chirinos can get 9th win. Yesterday had the 23 date numerology. Today's the 23rd of the month. Make sure I didn't miss any 9s with the pitchers this year. Bauer was already on 9. Hudson was on 9. Okay. But yeah, I'm going to take the Rays today. It's amazing how Chris Sale just keeps being a big favorite every game he pitches, even though, you know, he's not having a good season. I don't know what they're doing with that. All right, Phillies and Tigers. Nola, he's 49 and 30. Today has the lesser date numerology of 49. 8 and 2 on the season. Remember, Detroit's the 83 city. Detroit Tigers is 83. Detroit, Michigan is 83. It's on the 83rd meridian. So Nola, if he lost today, would be 8 and 3. Okay. And Boyd, if he won, would be 7 and 8. Tigers is 78. So you got pitcher riddles making sense on both sides. The only thing that could go against Boyd is he could get his 42nd loss with Detroit on the 42 date. He's 28 and 41 with Detroit. Today's 49 days after Nola's birthday. Again, he's on 49 wins. It's a 49 date numerology. It's the revelation number, Philadelphia. Let's see here. The Tigers are 12 and 8 versus the Phillies, and they're 7 and 5 at home. The interleague play records here. One, 7, 5. Let's see. All right, check the interleague records. Detroit versus the National League is 5 and 13. They won, they'd have the prime number thing. The Phillies are 5 and 3. So it actually doesn't look too bad for the Tigers today. It's mostly through the pitcher records. The only thing I could say about the Tigers losing is they would fall to 12 and 9, and against Synagogues 129. Phillies and New York both had those 129 trade riddles. But Detroit being that 83 city, perfect team to become 8 and 3 against. And Boyd's record makes sense too with a win. So what was the 7 and 5? I see Comerica Park is 76. So that's one other thing that could go against the Phillies, I suppose. Or not the Phillies, the Tigers. If they lost, they'd be 7 and 6 at home. 3. Is this a 2-game series or 3? Yeah, just a 2-game series. Let me see who's pitching tomorrow. You notice the Tigers are on 65 losses hosting Philadelphia. Be interesting if Tigers won both games and stayed on that 65. Zimmerman going tomorrow. Winless. All right. Yeah, but the numbers are definitely there for the Tigers. So if Boyd won, he'd also stay on 43 losses. Philadelphia Phillies is 191, the 43rd prime. Just add that to the notes. With regards to the 49 thing, 49 days after Nola's birthday, the Phillies can also get their 49th loss of the season. Okay. The Padres and the Mets, I think it's finally a Mets game without a 57 Riddle on the board. The Mets have a shot at their 24th home win on the 24 date. Mets equals 24. I think that's probably where this one's going. And that would also keep the Padres at 24. So I like the Mets. Mets in 24 has been a good pattern. Guess the only thing that could go against the Mets is the manager. It's 71 days after his birthday, the 20th prime. Their next home loss is 20, but I still prefer the 24 thing. Let's see here. Caller?
I like the Tigers today.
They look pretty good.
The reason being, Philadelphia equals 101 and 65. This is the Philly 101st game, like I told you yesterday, with the Seattle Mariners. So, in the Phillies 101st game, the Tigers stay on 65 losses.
Okay.
Remember, I did that with Seattle yesterday. Seattle Mariners equals 162. And the Rangers 100th game, the Mariners stayed on 62 losses. Same thing.
Okay. Okay.
All right, that's all I want.
All right, appreciate it. But yeah, Tigers look pretty good for the upset today. All right, let me look a little bit more at the Padres and Mets, but I do like that 24 just right on the surface. Playing the NL West. So they can also get their 9th win versus the West on the 23rd. That's another nice thing. And they have 38 wins versus the NL. So the next one's 39. 38 facing San Diego. San Diego 38. They have 50 losses. Next loss is 51. Mets is 51 too. And the Padres versus the NL East, they're 11 and 15. They have 40 wins versus the NL, 39 losses. Let me just see what Vargas's stats are versus the Padres since he's got so much history. But I am digging the 24 thing. Vargas. Padres. 2-2 versus the Padres with a 4.8 ERA. And let's see. He's 5-6 at Citi Field. Oh, that's the only thing I could see going against him. He could fall to 5-7. Citi Field. All right, so the two concerns for the Mets, Vargas could fall to 5-7, possible, at Citi Field. We know about the Mets in 57. And it is 71 days after Callaway's birthday, the 20th prime. The Mets could get their 20th home loss, but Mets does equal 24, going for the 24th home win on the 24 date, keeping the Padres at 24 away wins. And also the Mets getting the 9th win versus the NL West on the 23rd. Right when I thought there'd be no 57 riddles on the board, there was one potential one, but in a way I'm kind of going against my own rule because you've heard me say before, I don't go against the Mets in 57, but man, that 24 is screaming out at me. If the Padres only win one on this series, they'd have 48 wins. New York's 48. And if they win 2, they'd get to 47. San Diego's 47. Double check something here. Padres 65. Whew. Jason Vargas is 55. Jason Vargas is 71 too, like it's 71 days after the manager's birthday. So Jason Vargas can get to 5-5. The Mets can also get the 55th loss. And oh, wait a minute. I think I skipped something. San Diego Padres is 65 too. So if Paddock lost, he'd be 6-5. San Diego Padres 65. Let me actually look at who these guys pitch against next. All right, let's do it here. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he should face the Pirates next. Well, there is something concerning about that. So Pirates has that 47 Gematria. If he lost today, he would be 4-6 and have a chance to fall to 4-7. Pitching against the Pirates. Doesn't always go that way, though. Some games do. He could also face Chicago if he pitched one game later. Whew, man, that 24 is just right there, though. The Mets in 24 has been good to us this year. I'm still having trouble going against it. I just can't believe he has a chance to fall to 5-7 at Citi Field. I hate that. Unbelievable. It's the 4th game in a row for them. I mean, just how many games has it been? But it is the 4th game in a row with the Mets and a 57 Riddle on the board. And I don't think they've done us wrong yet. So, This game's on ESPN. If the Mets didn't lose, they would stay on 54 losses. And any other ESPN riddle up there? I see one more thing about Chris Paddock. If he won, he would be 7-4. San Diego is 74. Damn. All right, I'm going to move on to another game for now. I'm going to think about it some more, but that 24 is just right there. All right, the Royals and the Braves. Well, this would be the upset of the day if the Royals could win. I don't think that's going to happen. Okay, so notice the Royals come in on 37 wins. Atlanta Braves 37. Braves are on 41 losses. Kansas City 41. If they win 2, they get to 32 wins. Kansas City also 32. Big number with them. And is this a 2-game series? Braves schedule. Yeah, 2-game series. So if the Braves win both, they do get to 32 wins. That stands out right away. They play Philadelphia next. Was that at home or away? At Philly. Who do the Royals play next? Cleveland. Let's see. Royals. Oh, you know what? If the Royals lost 2, they'd have 66 losses, right? And then they play the Cleveland Indians next. Cleveland Indians is 67. We see a lot of teams come into a series either right on the number or one number off. It's interesting they go from the Braves to the Indians too. What's up with that? You know what else? The Royals are on 15 away wins. Atlanta's 15. So they can stay on 15 in Atlanta. Royals are on 15 away wins. Atlanta equals 15. If there's anything else here. Atlanta Braves is if you use the rule for S, it's 46. It's 37 without it, 46 with. Duffy could fall to 4-6 on the season by losing to the Atlanta Braves. Guess the only thing that I could see that could go in the Royals' favor is through Keuchel. Kansas City is 67. Keuchel could get his 67th loss. I don't think that's very likely, but that is the one thing I see for Kansas City. You know what's interesting is that Snicker has 281 career wins, which is the 60th prime, and he's at 60 wins on this season too, huh? So this will be the 18th game. 61, the 18th prime. Braves going for 61st win a season. But it's the 18th game between these teams. The Braves are 11-6 versus the Royals. They won both. They'd be 13-6. They'd get those prime numbers. 7-2 at home. Make sure I'm not missing some crucial number here. Atlanta Braves is also 136. Oh, there's one more. They got to 13-6. Okay, so there's that. Braves is 67 like Kansas City as well. Almost forgot that. They can get to 12-6 tonight at SunTrust Park. Okay. All right. Yeah, but them staying on 15 in Atlanta, they'd also get 37 away losses. Atlanta Braves 37. So the records make a whole lot of sense if the Braves win both games here. What I would do is I would take the Braves, and then if you end up putting together a parlay card, you know, just one of the small bets where you're trying to turn like $5 into $50 or $100, I'd also put in a small parlay, one of those parlay cards with the Royals winning, just because they have one narrative through Keuchel, and the Royals would be a nice payout if they won. But I'm thinking all this stuff looks pretty good for Atlanta. This seems like a, I don't know, 1 in 5 shot maybe. So not very high odds, but it could happen. Have to be all Keuchel, but the only thing going against him here. So, but yeah, that looks good for the Braves to win both. There's a lot of things that line up there. The Reds and the Brewers. Again, 2 days in a row. Reds pitcher has a chance to become 6-6. Cincinnati 66. The Reds did win yesterday, but the pitcher didn't get the decision. Davies is 41-27 and 8-2 on the season. Cincinnati Reds is 92. So he could improve to 9-2. So you have narratives for both pitchers here. The narrative for him to lose would be that Reds is 28 as well. He could pick up his 28th career loss. It is a 42 date, though, and he's going for his 42nd career win. The Reds' next win is 46. Reds is 46. Milwaukee's 46. Bell got to 45 and 53 yesterday. We talked about that possibility. Brewers 45, Milwaukee 53. Milwaukee, if you, again, is 46 as well. Milwaukee's 37 in the most pure cipher if you use the rule for K, plus 9 more. 37 plus 9 is 46. But that Davies getting to 9-2 against the Cincinnati Reds 92 and his 42nd win on the 42 date. I think that's the stronger riddle for the pitcher. I guess he would also get his 9th win of the season. Davies could pick up 9th win on 23rd, 23 9th prime. 23rd month. The Brewers are 3-4 at home versus the Reds, which means the Reds are 4-3 at Milwaukee. Milwaukee is 53. The Reds won, they'd be 5-3 at Milwaukee. The Brewers have 42 losses versus the National League on the 42 date. They also have 24 wins versus the NL Central on the 24 date. Talk about how if the Brewers won 2 out of 3, they'd be 26-19 versus the NL Central. Reds is 19-26. That would make a lot of sense. Let me make sure I'm not missing something with the division records. $50 wins. Milwaukee's next win versus the NL's 51, Cincinnati's 51. 42 losses. Their next loss is 43. Tomorrow's a 43 date. 39 wins. 33, 44 losses. Let me check something actually here. So if the Brewers win 2 more, they'll get to 52 wins. Miller Park is 52. Whoops. So there are a couple narratives for the Reds, but I still like Milwaukee to win 2 out of 3. It makes more sense to me if they're 26-19 versus the NL Central. And Davies' riddle is pretty nice. He's got the date numerology and the team name. I mean, Rourke could win and get to 6-6. That is Cincinnati, but we keep seeing these pitchers get no decisions for Cincinnati at this record right now. And I like the fact that Davies can also get his 9th win on the 23rd. So I'm leaning Brew Crew in that one. And the Marlins and the White Sox. If the White Sox won today, they'd get their 46th win. And then tomorrow would be 211 days after the manager's birthday, which is the 47th prime. So they could pick up 46 today and 47 tomorrow, which would be perfect with his birthday. Okay, so there is that. What I was saying, though, was that I like the White Sox to win 2 out of 3 in this series. Possible they could sweep. The series did begin on a 23 date. But the reason I like them to win 2 out of 3 is because they get to 27 home wins. Miami's 27, and the Marlins would end up getting 1 win. They'd get to 37. Chicago's 37. So if the White Sox did win today and tomorrow, that wouldn't happen. The White Sox would still take the series, which is fine. But Renteria, also his next career loss is 337, which is the 68th prime. Miami Marlins is 68 as well. This is the 17th game between these teams. Hold on, let me make sure I didn't miss some of this. Did I check the interleague plays with the Royals and the Braves? I just realized, hold on, I got to go back to this. I think I skipped the interleague play with the Royals and the Braves. Or maybe I didn't. Let me write this down. Did I write it down? Atlanta is 4-2 versus AL. Tomorrow's a 43 date. And Kansas City's 3-5. If they lost both, they'd be 3-7 like Atlanta Braves. And they'd get their 37th away loss of the season. So yeah, that's another thing going against the Royals. Okay, right now double checking the interleague play with the Marlins and White Sox. White Sox are 4-5 versus the AL. So if they lost, they'd be 4-6 like Chicago. And Miami's 5-5. White Sox. Guaranteed rate field's also 337 too, huh? 68th prime. White Sox 42 date. But okay, about it being the 17th game between these teams, the White Sox are 10-6 versus the Marlins. Again, 17 is the 7th prime, and they are 7-3 at home right now. So the sevens could hit if the White Sox lost today. That said, primes. They do come through more often than not in baseball, but they don't come through enough to have super confidence in them. So it's like you want something stronger to go with. I do think if the Marlins are going to win one in this series, which is very probable for the reasons we talked about, today probably would be the day. Dylan Covey's been terrible. The only thing I'm looking at, though, is this thing with Renteria. Covey can get his 27th career loss. Miami's 27. Good team to get it against. Smith could get his 12th career loss. Chicago's 37, 12th prime. But this right here is a sign for the Marlins. Let's see who's pitching tomorrow. Because, again, it really does make sense if Miami steals one in Chicago. So Gallen, who doesn't have a decision yet. Ooh, Ronaldo Lopez. Now, what's tricky about that is Miami Marlins is 59 and 68, but it's 59 in the more pure cipher. So if the Marlins did drop today, there'd be an argument for him to win tomorrow. And Gallen could get to 1-2 in Chicago. Again, Chicago 37, the 12th prime. The way he spells Zach equals 12 too. Z-A-C. Okay. One and six. If you already got the White Sox to win the series, you might just want to chill and watch the rest of the series. Or if the White Sox went down today, I would like them tomorrow. I'd say looking at today and tomorrow's game, this is still probably the higher chance that the Marlins win this one, just because Covey's on the mound and he has not been good. Let's actually look a little bit more at his stats real quick. Let's see what his record is all time at Guaranteed Rate Field. Probably hasn't faced the Marlins before. Yeah, he hasn't. He's 4-7 at home. Now, what's tricky about that is White Sox is 48 and 57. 4-7. Okay. But again, it is that 17th game, 17 the 7th prime. White Sox could get the 7th loss and stay at 7 home wins. So I am leaning a little bit towards the Marlins there, but definitely like the White Sox to win the series. Okay. A's and Astros. Again, the Astros, as long as they keep winning in this series, all 3 date numerologies are going to line up for them. They're not nearly as big of a favorite today. But again, the Astros can now get the 69th win versus the Athletics on the 69 day. The A's can pick up their 24th loss versus the AL West on the 24 day. That would actually make them 24-24. And the A's can pick up their 42nd loss versus the AL on the 42 date. So exact same thing as yesterday. And I imagine that will probably come through again. If the Athletics, what'll be a little bit different about tomorrow is tomorrow on the 25 date, the A's would have the chance at the 25 either way, but tomorrow will be a 70 date, and the Astros will be going for their 70th win, and it'll be a 43 date, and the Athletics can pick up their 43rd loss, plus Astros equals 43. So it's looking like the Astros are going to take care of business in this series. Both pitchers would be 9-4. Let me check and see if that has any connection to anything. Houston, 65. How was that coming up? The Astros at 65 wins. Oakland. So I'm not seeing any 94s. Well, let me look at the pitcher names too real quick. Fears is 95. If he lost 2 games, he would get to 9-5. And what was it? Miley for the Astros. He's 43. Okay. But yeah, it's hard to go against the Astros with that riddle. So 2 days in a row, same thing. I don't see what the connection is with 94. Oh, you know what? I got one. It's a little bit abstract, but if you write out 94 with the alphabetic order, it's 147. And Houston Astros is 147 with the reverse alphabetic order. So maybe it makes sense for them to both be 9-4 after this meeting between the teams. When you write out 94, it also equals 57. A's could stay on 57 wins. Let's see who they got pitching tomorrow. Chris Bassett can become 7-5 tomorrow. Houston Astros 75. Verlander can get his 13th win of the season. Oakland 41, the 13th prime. I think it's going there. So, all right. Can't go against the triple date numerology. Guess the only thing for the A's with the date numerology today is the possibility of staying on 24 away losses. But they had that yesterday too, staying on 23 possibly. All right. Yankees and Twins. I'm thinking the Yankees are going to win one game in this series. They lost yesterday. They got 2 games left. So, in other words, I'm saying I think they're going to split the final 2 games here. Again, the reason I like the Twins to lose just one is because they'll get their 39th loss of the season, New York 39, and they'll get their 33rd loss versus the AL, New York 33. So, German is 14-9 on the season. 149 is the 35th prime. Yankees has that 35, Gematria. 12-2 this year. He's 14-9 for his career, 12-2 this year. Gibson is 63-65. New York Yankees is 65. If he didn't lose, stay at 65. It's 353 days after German's birthday, the 71st prime. 273 days after Gibson's. Let me make sure that's not prime. I don't think it is. 91 goes in. Yeah, 91 times 3. Okay. Okay. The Twins are 2-2 versus the Yankees this year. So if they split the final 2 games, they'll be 3-3, like New York 33. If they won today, they'd be 3-2. Twins is 32. And you could also make an argument for the Yankees that if they beat the Twins, they'd be 3-2 against the Twins. Somebody's going to be 2-3 on the 23rd. The Yankees are 55-29 versus the AL. Twins are 58-32. That's also the other thing. The Twins play the White Sox next. White Sox is 39. Another reason to believe they'll go in on the 39. Right. Yeah, today's game's tough. Let's look at Kyle Gibson splits more and see how he's been against the Yankees. Okay. Ooh, tough record against the Yankees. He's 1-6, but that means if he won, he'd be 2-6. Yankees 26, 6.5 ERA too. New York Yankees 65. That's funny. All right, let's jot that down. Gibson is 1-6 versus Yankees. Yankees equals 26. And at Target Field, he is 30-33. So we could stay at 33 losses. New York's 33. It's funny he has a losing record at home because he has a losing record for his career. It's going to be his 88th start. Let's see if German has any history with the Twins. Probably does. Okay. He's 1-0 versus the Twins with a 1.54 ERA. Not bad. He's never played at Target Field. So only one start, too. Who's pitching tomorrow for these guys? Odorizzi's pitching tomorrow. I want to look at tomorrow's starters and see if we can get any big clue out of these guys. If they are going to split, there should be a big clue here. Odorizzi. He got his 12th win. Yankees is 37, the 12th prime. Seven and 8 versus the Yankees. Yankees. All right, so he's 7 and 8. New York 78. There we go. Twins. Minnesota Twins is 78 too. If you got to 8 and 8 at Target Field, square root of 64 is 8. 8 times 8. What about half? Twins. 3 and 5 versus the Twins. Three and 2 at Target Field. So he could become 3 and 3. New York 33. Let's see here. So it's looking at a pitcher. I mean, if you're not looking at, the number code, you're going, wow, German's pitched well against this team, and Gibson has really struggled. But see the magic in him becoming 2 and 6. That's a big number with the Yankees, 26. And staying at 33 losses makes sense. The only thing I could say about German, it being 353 days after his birthday, that's the 71st prime. 71's the 20th prime. The only 20 on the board is the Twins picking up the 20th home loss. Yeah, it's tough today, but Gibson does have some numbers that would make some sense. He's having a better season, too. I mean, let's see if he faced the Yankees this year. Let's look at that, too, real quick. Kyle Gibson, game log. Let's see here. Yeah, May 3rd he did. He lost that game. That was his first loss of the season. He pitched since. See how many days ago that game was. "81 days ago, or a span of 82. 81 has a square root of 9. At 9 wins. Twins. Yankees. No 82 connection. In light of it being the 23rd of the month, 23 the 9th prime, German is at 9 career losses and Gibson is at 9 wins on the season. Okay. This is the MLBN network game. Again, I know they equal 41. Let me just look in the pure ciphers. Whoa. MLBN 41 for 67 22. 67 is the 19th prime. Yankees could get that 19th loss. Yeah, it's a tight game, definitely. But Gibson, if he did get to 2-6, I mean, that's a number we see a lot with the Yankees, 26. But again, we're expecting the Yankees to win one of the next two. So this game, betting on this game is kind of like a roll of the dice. If you took Twins to win the series, I'd probably just stick with that. The Diamondbacks do look good to beat the Orioles today. Again, it's about the Orioles falling to 3-9 versus the National League. Orioles 39, Arizona's 39. Let me just double check something. Yeah, okay. So those are numbers. And only argument I could make for the Orioles is Bundy. 11, the 5th prime, but we haven't really seen those prime numbers panning out for the pitchers. He's on 42 losses. Arizona's 42. Diamondbacks is 42. But I still like the being 3-9 versus the NL Riddle. Hyde can get his 69th career loss today on the 69 date. And okay. The Diamondbacks can get their 9th home win on the 23rd. If they lost, they would be 13-7, a bit like 137, the 33rd prime. They play down on the 33rd parallel, but I guess the only other thing I could say is if they didn't win today, they could get the 14th overall win tomorrow on the 43 date, but still, I still like this 3-9 riddle. So D-backs can get 9th home win on 23rd, 23 9th prime. I'll just make this note here. If D-backs lost today, they would pick up 14th win in series on 43-day tomorrow. But they could also stay on 14 tomorrow on the 43-day, because I was saying if the Diamondbacks start off the series and make it 3-9, that makes a lot of sense because both teams have the overlap with 39. But imagine that the Diamondbacks win today and they're 9-2. That means if they lost tomorrow, they'd be 9-3, and we know Orioles is 93 as well. So I'm sticking with that thought of 3-9. Let me just check everything else out. Yeah, and the Orioles is a team because Hyde's a first-year manager with the Orioles. So the Orioles got the date numerology going against them too, and they would have it going against them tomorrow as well. So I will have to think more about that, but yeah, I'm sticking with the Diamondbacks getting it done today. They're a big favorite again. Again, if you take bets with all these games, you can put together a small parlay card at the end of the day with the risky games, the things that are less likely to happen but would be a big payout. So like you could put the Orioles on there for an upset, just one of your $5 bets, like your counter bet. The Royals had a really small narrative. It looks good for the Braves today, but that's what you can do with these riskier teams that would be big payouts if they came through. The Cubs and the Giants. Bumgarner's on the mound again. I really wish he was traded already. Unless they're just not going to trade him. But I keep thinking where he goes in the National League, that'll be a huge clue for the World Series. Bumgarner's on 115 wins right now. Remember, San Francisco Giants is 114. I thought he might get traded there. Then he got to 115. I was like, okay, well, I guess they could trade him to a team with 115 wins because it's the 115th World Series. He's been stuck on this number. He's not getting past it so far. What stands out, though, about the pitchers today is Darvish. If he loses, notice his next loss is 50. We know how big that number is with San Francisco. So San Francisco, Darvish can get the 50th loss. If he did, he'd be 3-5 on the season. Chicago's 35. If you use the rule for H, it's also 44. Again, H is the 19th letter in reverse, so it can be worth 1 or 10. Madden's next loss with Chicago is his 308th. Kind of looks like Giants 38. Bochy doesn't have the magic birthday alignment anymore. Yesterday was the first meeting between these teams this year. The Giants are 1-0. Last year they were 3-3. They split last year, these teams. If the Giants lost today, they would stay on 24 wins on the 24-day. And then they could pick up the 25th win tomorrow on the 25 date, the big Giants number. Giants is 25. So I should have thought about that more yesterday, how the third game would be on a 25 date numerology. That was right there in my face. See. If the Giants didn't lose today, they would go into tomorrow on 43 losses on a 43 date. They're still on 27. Let's look at the splits for the pitchers between these teams. So Darvish versus the Giants. So he's 1-0 versus the Giants. and AT&T. And he's 1-0. So he pitched a great game. 7 games, no runs. Darvish. Darvish is 1-0 versus Giants and 1-0 at Oracle Park. Again, on this website, they haven't updated the name Oracle Park. They still have it as AT&T. But it is Oracle. So yeah, just 1 start. Okay, let's see Bumgarner. Seems like he would have faced him more than that by now. Bumgarner, Cubs. 9-2 versus the Cubbies. And all right. So 9-2 versus the Cubs. It's going to be his 14th start. And at AT&T, he's 57-40. That's right. Cubs. All right. So again, Darvish, what he has going against him is potentially picking up that 50th loss. San Francisco's 50. He fell to 3-5 on the season. Chicago's 35, but it is also 44. If the Giants don't win today, I think they will win tomorrow because tomorrow's the 25 date. The 25s are definitely hitting for the Giants. I'm not seeing the giant clue for today's game. I keep thinking Bumgarner's not going to win another game while on the Giants. So let's take a peek at who pitches tomorrow. Oh, look at that. Lester can fall to 9-7 tomorrow. Like 97, the 25th prime. Okay. And tomorrow is the 25 date, too. All right. I got to make a note about that. Lester pitches tomorrow and can fall to 9-7, 97, 25th prime, 25 date, Giants equals 25. So that makes me think that Cubs, man, but God, I don't like Darvish's record. He could get a no decision. Bumgarner's been pitching well lately, just not getting decisions. But yeah, man, that looks good for the Giants tomorrow. Because if the Giants don't win today, they'd go into tomorrow looking for that 25th win on the 25 day. And Lester, he's making too much sense with the loss right there. So MLBN is 67, the 19th prime. If the Cubs win today, they'd also be on 19 away wins. Cubs would be at 55 wins if they won today, like 5 times 5 is 25. But yeah, it's just, Giants sitting on 24 home wins on the 24 day. It's about the best thing you can bank on because pitchers aren't really helping out in this one. So, but I'm liking that a lot tomorrow right there. Okay, Angels and Dodgers. Pena comes in 11-8 for this Battle of Los Angeles for his career. Los Angeles, California is 118. Notice he can become 11-8 with the Angels as well. So that would be a very Los Angeles tribute. Los Angeles is also on the 118th meridian. Maeda comes in 44-33. He's 7-6 on the season. The Dodgers have a losing record against the Angels all time. They're 54-68. That means they could get their 69th loss on the 69 date. And Los Angeles, if I'm not mistaken, also equals 109, which is the 29th prime. Yeah, Los Angeles is 109, 29th prime. The next loss for the Dodgers at home is 29. So possibly that gets picked up in the series as soon as today. So far, the Dodgers are 0-2 versus the Angels this year. They lost 2 in Anaheim. If they split, they'd be 1-3. We know how big 13 is with LA. If they won both, they could get to 2-2. Angels 22. But today, things do look good for the Angels. You got the 118 thing with the Angels pitcher. And you have the 69th all-time loss on the 69 date. So, and also the Angels would get their 53rd win today. Los Angeles 53. So that'd be quite the Los Angeles tribute. Let's see. If the Dodgers lost both in the series, they'd end up picking up their 37th loss. Los Angeles is also 37. Remember, the Dodgers have had the other perspective. There's a number of teams this year that have started off 0-3 against the Dodgers. The Rockies were one. There was another one recently. And both games I was thinking, oh, LA 13, they could win here. And both of those teams ended up starting off 0-4 against the Dodgers and then winning in the fifth game, becoming 1-4. LA is also 14. But I think the Angels, I think they got the riddle today. I think the Angels might be a nice upset. And remember, the Tyler Skaggs funeral was yesterday. By the way, I have to go back and look at yesterday's games real quick. That was one thing I forgot to look at. Teams on 45. So the Rays did get their 46th loss. Let's see. I just want to see how the 45s. The Reds got their 45th win on the Tyler Skaggs funeral day. Again, he was number 45. Tyler Skaggs 45. White Sox got that 45th win. Guess Cubs, they could have stayed on 45 losses. Teams staying on the number didn't look like it was it, but picking up the win, those games came through. Okay. So anyway, all right, let's also think about how many days it is from Tyler Skaggs' death. He died July 1st. Today's 22 days later. Angels 22. That's also interesting. Today is 22 days after Skaggs' death. Angels equals 22. But yeah, I think the Angels, I think they can definitely get the upset here. As I say that, I see Maeda's next win is 45, but I still like this for the Angels here. Check a few more things, make sure I'm not missing anything here. And Dodgers. We'll look at who pitches tomorrow, too. Is there a... Dodgers Stadium 76. He's already 7-6. Could get a no decision. But yeah, my strategy for this series, even if the Angels lost today, I'd probably take them tomorrow too, because I really like them getting their 53rd win against Los Angeles. But today's perfect. You got the date numerology, the pitcher that can become 118. Those are all LA numbers. So let's see who's going tomorrow. Ooh. So tomorrow, Stripling can become 5-3. And if the Angels won today and lost tomorrow, then the Dodgers would start off 1-3 against the Angels for the year. So that might be exactly how it goes. The Dodgers' next home win is 41 too. I was sleeping on that. LA 41. But that would make sense tomorrow to become 1-3 and get the 41st home win. Stripling is 4-3 for Dodgers and on mound tomorrow. Los Angeles equals 53. LA's next. Oh, I shouldn't say it right. LA Dodgers next home win is 41. LA 41. Whoops. 41-13. But yeah, I'm gonna roll with the Angels today. I like the LA riddle through them. And could the Mariners win 2 days in a row? Remember yesterday that you had the nice number of the beast riddle with the Mariners in the 666th game? Today, Malone's on the mound for the Mariners. He could get his 42nd loss. It is a 42-day, but the 42 plays better for the Mariners than it does the Rangers. The Mariners could get their 42nd win, and the Rangers could become 42-42 versus the AL on the 42 date. So, just like how the 41 played in two ways for the Mariners yesterday. They got their 41st win on the 41 date. The Rangers got their 41st loss. So it doesn't matter anymore. Oh, hold on. I forgot to do the interleague play for the Angels and Dodgers. Let's look at that piece too, just in case we're missing something huge. All right, Dodgers versus the AL are 3-4. Dodgers is 36-45. And Angels 9-4 versus the NL. Four. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to change my mind. Nope. Okay. Rangers and Mariners. So the 42s could stack both ways for the Mariners, just like the 41s stacked both ways for them yesterday with the win-loss records. Yesterday, the Rangers had a shot at their 23rd win versus the AL West, and they didn't get it. Today, they don't have anything lined up for them like that. All I see with this Malone is 47 15th prime could become 1-5 on season. Again, Seattle's on the 47th parallel, but doesn't have to be that way. So that's what's going against the Mariners is their pitcher. Let's look at his history with the Rangers. The Rangers have lost 8 straight. And remember, we talked about that too yesterday, that Seattle equals 19, the 8th prime would be the perfect city to lose 8 straight against. So if they lost today, they'd lose 9 straight on the 23rd. And baseball is a game of 9s. Their losing streak could come to an end today. Because imagine if the Rangers lose, they'd be 42-42 versus the AL on the 42 date. And then tomorrow's a 43 date. They'd have a chance at their 43rd win or loss. Mariners is 43, 43rd season. 43 is the 14th prime number. We know how streaks and end, how 14 connects. So maybe by picking up the 43rd win versus the AL, they'd end their losing streak at 9 games. Let me look more at Malone's stats here versus the Rangers. Number 5. Or what am I doing? Splits. Rangers. He's 4-5 versus the Rangers. Now, isn't Rangers 46? If you use the rule for S, it is. Texas Rangers. Whoops. Texas Rangers. 4-5. Let's see. He's 3-5 at Safeco Field. Okay. What's it called now? T-Mobile Park. Texas Rangers equals 151, 36th prime. Could fall to 3-6. Today would be a good day to lose 9 straight, though. And again, being 42-42 on the AL on the 42 date, the Mariners getting their 42nd win, all of that makes sense. So the Mariners pitcher is the one concern here. If you won with the Mariners yesterday, you know, might just want to pack it in. But it's hard to count on the Mariners 2 days in a row, but the riddle is there. So let me double check here. There's 17, 38 wins versus the West. 55 losses. Their next loss is 56. Mariners 56. Texas 42 wins, 13, 41 losses. 22, 28. 34. It's going to be their 56th game versus the West. Mariners 56. Their next loss versus the AL's 56. 56 game versus AL West. Next loss versus AL is 56. All right. All right, so let's go back and review the games, see what we got here. The Rockies at the Nationals. Strasburg's on the mound. The last time he lost was 38 days ago. Very interesting because he's facing Colorado. That's their big number. Strasburg with a win would be 6-4. Rockies is 64. And we looked ahead tomorrow. Did I not jot down what I saw for tomorrow? Maybe I didn't write it down. I'm going to write it down anyway. Where's it at? John Gray tomorrow has a chance to become 10-7. Washington Nationals is 107, just like Strasburg's next win's 107. I'm thinking the Rockies might only win one in this series, and that riddle, we don't know who the Nationals pitcher is yet, but that could be the game they win. If I'm right about this, I'm thinking the Nationals are going to win 3 out of 4. What's the weather like? It's supposed to be a nice day there. Okay, so it's not going to get rained out today. The Nationals' next loss versus the National League is number 43. Tomorrow's the date with 43 numerology. Tomorrow you have the pitcher on the mound who has the he can become 10-7 by beating the Nationals. And again, Washington Nationals 107. So there's not a lot of numbers that line up for today's game, but Strasburg's been hot. It's been a minute since he lost. It's been over a month since his team lost when he was on the mound. But it is very interesting that his last loss was 38 days ago and he's facing Colorado. I don't know what to make of that. So Nationals, big favorite today. They're not a great payout, but I imagine they will probably get it done. And did I look at who Strasburg was going to face next? Let me double check that one more time. All right, hold on here. I didn't write it down in my notes, did I? Let's see. Oh, it was the Dodgers. I remember this now. The Dodgers. They pitched that game. 35, 54, 74 date numerology, 47 date numerology. Again, if he wins this game, he faces LA next. He can get his 49th win in Washington today. I guess that's something. He can get his 49th win in Washington and get his 13th win of the season. The numerology of 49, when you break it down, 4 + 9 is 13. Washington just passed the $1.3 trillion budget yesterday. So Strasburg does win today. He'll face LA next, likely with 13 wins. Well, if he wins, he'll have 13. He'd have a chance at 14 versus LA. All right, I'm going to lean Nationals there. There's not a lot to go off of, but it's that hunch that the Nationals are going to win 3 out of 4 against the Rockies to give Black his 202nd career loss in the DC area code, which is 202. So based on that, if that's a correct assumption, the Nationals have a 75% chance to win. Plus Strasburg's on the mound, who's been nasty. So the Cardinals and the Pirates, there's a lot of 24 here. If the Pirates win, they're 24-24 on the 20 date. The Cardinals stay at 24 away wins. The Pirates would stay at 24 losses versus the NL Central. I'm having trouble ignoring all the 24. The concern is that if the Cardinals won, and I'm expecting the Cardinals to possibly win all but one game in this series based on the manager, because if he only lost one, he'd get 76 losses, Pittsburgh 76. But the riddle for the Cardinals to win today would be to make the Pirates 4-7 versus the Cardinals, or for the Cardinals to be 7-4 versus the Pirates. Because St. Louis and Pirates are 47. St. Louis is also 74. So the head-to-head records aren't always perfect like that, but oftentimes there are riddles in them. So, but that 24 is just what's screaming. I got to stick with the 24. The line doesn't seem right either. So it seems like it's baiting people to bet on St. Louis. They're saying, St. Louis is a better team. They got a better pitcher on the mound. I know Pittsburgh's at home, but really? So I'm going to stick with those 24s. The Indians and the Blue Jays. Again, we like the Indians to win this series. If Bauer wins today, he'd get his 69th career win on the 69 date in the Rogers Center. Rogers Center 69. If Sanchez lost, he'd pick up his 34th loss. Indians 34. If he won, he'd be 33-33. Cleveland is 33. So I'd say that's the riddle for the Blue Jays today, for Sanchez to get to 33-33. The other thing that could go against the Indians today is picking up their 42nd loss on the 42-date numerology. Not out of the question. But again, I like Cleveland to win 2 out of 3 in this series. So it might not follow the date numerology, because they'll get that 59th win. Toronto Blue Jays 59. So one more thing I see here against the Indians. Indians could pick up 9th loss versus AL East, 23rd of month, 9th prime. So Blue Jays do have a chance to upset today. They'd be a nice payout. Again, I might put together a small parlay with these riskier bets. You know, try to take 3 underdogs. If they come through, $5 probably becomes at least $50. So Blue Jays could be one of those teams you want to take a risk on. There are some things lining up for them, but again, there's plenty lining up for Cleveland too through Bauer. So, and they are hot. After we review all these games, we'll go back and look at the streaks teams are on right now too. I'm thinking the Rays are going to win the next 2 games against the Red Sox, take 2 out of 3 in the series. The riddle for the Red Sox to only lose 1 is to be on 47 losses, because Tampa Bay is 47. But today, I do like the Rays. The Rays can get their 24th win versus the AL East on the 24 date. The Red Sox can stay at 24 wins versus the AL East. Also, right here, the Red Sox can pick up their 42nd loss versus the AL on the 42 date. Rays can stay at 42 losses versus the AL. And if the Rays do win the next 2 games, they'll have 59 wins, and they play the Toronto Blue Jays next. Toronto Blue Jays is 59. So, like the Rays today. The Phillies and the Tigers look like they could upset today. What's going for the Tigers is Nola can fall to 8-3. Detroit Tigers is 83. Detroit, Michigan is 83. Notice Nola's at 49 wins. Today's 49 days after his birthday. It's a lesser date numerology of 49. His team could stay, or his team could pick up their 49th loss. And if the Tigers did win, they'd be 6-13 versus the NL, those prime numbers. So. Also, Boyd for the Tigers with a win would be 7-8, and Tigers is 78. What could go against Boyd is picking up his 42nd loss with Detroit on the 42-date numerology. Detroit's also on the 42nd parallel. It's also on the 83rd meridian. I guess something that I should have considered. Ooh. All right. Where do I put this note at? I'll put it here in bold. 23rd of month, 9th prime, There's actually 3 9s that I see. Ugh. So this is the riddle for the Detroit not to win right here. Nola could get his 9th win. Boyd could get his 9th loss. And the Tigers could get their 9th loss versus the Phillies. But still, the Tigers still do have a good riddle. But yeah, I just picked up on that 23-9 thing. And here's something else I see. This is a little bit more abstract, but if you remember the Phillies, or not the Phillies, the NBA playoffs and the series between Brooklyn and Philadelphia, it was a big synagogue of Satan ritual. Again, today's 49 days after Nola's birthday, and Revelation's 49 in the most pure cipher. And of course, Philadelphia's named from Revelation. And if you write out the synagogue of Satan, it equals 92. He could become 9 and 2, and synagogue alone is 129. If Philadelphia won, they would be 12 and 9 versus the Tigers. So there is a narrative here for Philadelphia, but still, Tigers got a nice riddle too. 83 is a big number in Detroit. Again, it's on the 83rd meridian. Detroit Tigers 83, Detroit, Michigan 83. It ended up seeming that Boston riddle in the end was about preserving the record for Detroit. Detroit, the last city to win 3 championships in a year period of time. Boston was trying to match that 83 years later with the Bruins 83, but they lost in Game 7. And it was all synced up with Tom Brady's birthday, too, born on 8/3. So that was the thing that screamed out was the 83 riddle. And 83 is also the 23rd prime, isn't it? And it's the 23rd of the month. But now what just caught my eye is just all those 9s on the 23rd of the month if the Phillies won. So if you're mixing up parlay cards, you can get on both. You can get on the side of both of these teams actually, and cheer for the Tigers. They're a way better payout. But there are a number of upsets that look like they could come through today, including the Tigers. All right, the Padres and the Mets. Mets equals 24. You have the 24 date numerology. They can get their 24th home win. Keep the Padres at 24 away wins. That all looks great. The Mets would also get their 9th win versus the NL West on the 23rd of the month, 23 the 9th prime. Paddock, his record could go either way. The Padres pitcher, if he's 6-5, San Diego Padres is 65. If he wins, he's 7-4, San Diego 74. Vargas is 4-5 on the season. With the win, he'd be 5-5. Jason Vargas is 55. His team's next loss is also 55. We got a call here. Caller?
Hey, what's going on, Zach? I'm just logging into your video a little late, so I was curious to some of the teams that you like today.
Okay, well, I'm doing the review right now, and I'll have the review video out so you can go back over that when I'm done.
Oh, okay, no problem.
All right, yeah, thanks, man.
You're welcome.
Okay, so there's a nice 24 riddle for the Mets. And when I was watching this, I was like, it finally looks like we don't see a Mets game where there's a 57 riddle. And then I looked at Vargas's home record at Citi Field, and I saw he was 5-6. And I said, you got to be kidding me. So if Vargas loses, he'll be 5-7 at his home field. And we know Mets is 57. New York Mets is 57. New York City's 57. If he lost 2 in a row there, he could get to 5-8, and Citi Field's 58. So that makes me a little bit anxious because you've heard me say before, I don't like to go against the Mets in 57. And That's definitely a Mets 57 riddle if he went down. So, but man, those 24s are screaming out at me. The Mets in 24 has been good this year. It's been real consistent, where we've seen the 24 opportunities for the Mets. So the Padres again would also stay on 24. This game's on ESPN. If the Mets didn't lose, they'd stay on 54 losses on ESPN. ESPN's 54 like baseball. The other thing about Vargas is it looks like he'll either face the Pirates or Chicago next. He'll face one of those two teams. If he lost, he'd be 4-6. Chicago's 46, but Pirates is also 47. So if he lost, he'd have a chance to fall to 4-7 against the Pirates if it ended up being that matchup. So yeah, I'm conflicted on this game. I really like the 24 there for the Mets, but I just can't believe that he can fall to 5-7 at home. Well, I can believe it, but it's just unfortunate that it lines up that way. So, all right, the Royals and Braves. It looks like the Braves should win both of these games. If the Royals lose both games in this 2-game series, they'll stay at 15 wins. Atlanta's 15. They'll get to 37 away losses. Atlanta Braves 37. They'd stay on 37 wins for the season. Atlanta Braves 37. The Braves would get to 32 home wins. Kansas City 32. They'd stay on 41 losses. Kansas City also 41. So a lot lines up there for the Braves to win both games. If Kansas City loses both games, they'll be 3-7 versus the National League. Again, Atlanta Braves 37. So they'd have 37 all over the place. 37 wins, 37 away losses, 3-7 versus the NL. Looks strong. Now, that said, I did mention that I'd take the Braves today, but I'd also put together a separate card with some of these upset narratives. The Royals, their riddle is through Keuchel to win. The only way the Royals win today is through Keuchel. Keuchel lost, he'd get his 67th loss. Kansas City 67, so is Braves. So it's possible. It's possible, but I very unlikely, I would say. Looks like the Braves are going to sweep this thing. So, but if you mix up a parlay card with the riskier games, if they come through, getting $5 could turn into 50. So, caller.
Hey, this is going off topic, but have you seen the news about, well, rather it's a rumor, but it seems to have some other coincidences going on that seem to imply it might be true. The Turkish president, Erdogan, he suffered a heart attack and died.
Today?
Well, within this past couple days. It's saying Monday, I guess.
Is the news today?
It's been spreading. I mean, there was an article that came out. Yeah, I guess today.
That's pretty big news, and I didn't hear anything about his death.
But it's interesting that some of these sites that are quoting or making articles about it are talking about these prophecies, discussing a sultan that would die suddenly following a lunar eclipse, and seems to imply some kind of interesting overlap as well with, I guess, what is this? Genesis 8:4. So then the 7th month, on the 7th day of the month, the ark came to rest in the mountains of Ararat.
Right, and Turkey's biblical land. But yeah, I didn't hear anything about his death.
He's 65, or was 65. Yeah, I don't know. It's just something to look into. I just thought, given how much it's kind of picked up, and the fact
Turkish president congratulates UK's Boris Johnson.
But I think that's an old photo.
Okay, but I'm just saying that's just today's news, so I'm not there. Nobody's reporting that he's dead.
Yeah, it's just a rumor that started, but
unconfirmed death reports. Okay. Okay. All right.
Just,
I'll look more into it.
Yeah, just something to look into more, maybe. Even if it's a hoax, the fact that they're doing it right now is tying in with things.
Sure. All right. Appreciate it.
See ya.
All right, thanks. Okay. So anyway, a lot lines up for Braves to win both games. Royals, they have a narrative through Keuchel. That's about all they got going for them. The Reds and the Brewers, for the second day in a row, we have a Reds pitcher that can become 6-6. Cincinnati 66. Yesterday's pitcher didn't do it, but his team did win. Davies today could get his 42nd win on the 42-date numerology, could become 9-2 for the season. Cincinnati Reds 92. He'd pick up his 9th win on the 23rd. 23, the 9th prime. If the Brewers win 2 out of 3, they will be 26-19 versus the NL Central. Reds is 19-26. So that makes some sense. And it's a little bit tricky because you got the Cincinnati pitcher that can become 6-6, but the Davies riddle looks better. 42 wins on the 42-day. I forgot to mention that he could get his 28th loss. Reds is also 28. But date numerology and team name making sense if he wins. And I do like the Brewers to win 2 out of 3 here, so they'd have to win today. So I'm leaning Brew Crew in that game. The Marlins and the White Sox. We saw how tomorrow's pitcher for the Marlins, let me go back to that. Or was it the, hold on. It was one of the pitchers tomorrow. Where's he at? This is it. Ronaldo Lopez. Miami Marlins is 59 in the most pure cipher. It is also 68, so you can make an argument either way for him. If Gallen won tomorrow, he'd be 1-2. Chicago's 37, the 12th prime. Okay, so anyway, tomorrow's pitchers have a more favorable matchup for the White Sox. You can make an argument either way tomorrow. But again, we said yesterday that we like the White Sox to win 2 out of 3 in this series. And that's because the White Sox would have 27 home wins, Miami's 27, and the Marlins would have just 37 wins, Chicago 37, where the game's at. It also makes a bit of sense for Renteria to get his 337th loss as a manager in this series. That's the 68th prime, Miami Marlins 68. So we're trying to pick which game will the Marlins pick up, if they're going to pick up 1 out of the next 2. And it might make a bit more sense for them to win today. Caleb Smith, he's not such a bad pitcher. Covey's been pretty bad. If Covey lost today, he'd get his 27th career loss. Miami's 27. And he's 4-7 at his home field for his career, so he could become 4-8 or 5-7. White Sox is 48 and 57, so that's not so helpful. But the 27th career loss against Miami makes sense. And this is the 17th game between these teams. 17 is the 7th prime. If the White Sox lost today, they'd get their 7th loss in the series. They'd be 10-7 versus the Marlins. And they'd stay at 7 home wins as well in the 17th game. So the 7 could hit in 2 ways with a Marlins upset. Or actually, it's not an upset. Marlins are actually the slight favorite today. But this looks like the stronger riddle here for the Marlins today. And you know what else I just noticed? Chicago White Sox is 74. So if they split these last 2 games, they'll be 7-4, which is what we're expecting. All right, so yesterday the advice was to take the White Sox to win the series. It looks like that should happen. Just can we get today's game right and tomorrow's game right? We talked about how the White Sox pitcher could be 5-9 or 6-8 tomorrow. Miami Marlins is 59-68. Guaranteed rate field where they play is also 337, the 68th prime. So I think I'm going to take Miami today, White Sox tomorrow. A's and Astros. Astros have the same riddle as yesterday. All 3 date numerologies line up for them. They can get the 69th series win against the Athletics on the 69 date. A's can become 24-24 in the AL West on the 24 date with a loss. A's can get the 42nd loss versus the AL on the 42 date. And tomorrow will be similar. If the A's do lose tomorrow, they'll get their 43rd loss on the 43 date versus the Astros. Astros 43. Let's make that note. But yeah, Astros look good again. The Yankees and the Twins. Again, I like the Twins to win 2 out of 3 in this series. They won yesterday. So they'll likely split these next 2 games. German has 1 start against the Twins, and he pitched great, got the win in that game with a 1.54 ERA. Gibson has struggled against the Yankees. He's 1-6 for his career. That means if he won, though, he'd be 2-6. Yankees 26. He's 30-33 at home. If he didn't lose today, he would he'd stay at 33 losses. New York 33. Twins equals 31 as well if he got his 31st win. Somebody's going to become 3-2 versus they're 2-2 against each other this year. Twins equals 32. If the Twins won from their perspective, they'd be 3-2. Again, the reason we like the Twins to lose 1 in the series, or at least I do, is because they'd have 39 losses, New York 39, and they have 33 losses versus the AL, New York 33. So this game's on MLBN, which equals 67, the 19th prime. Yankees could get their 19th away loss today. So did I look at who these guys are going to face next? If I did, let me do it one more time. Try to 2, 3, 4, 5. So German will likely face the Red Sox next at Boston. There's not a great clue there in that. And twin schedule. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. White Sox. Sucks. You know, what I could say actually about Kyle Gibson is that if he won, it would give him a chance to get to 11-4. Minneapolis, Minnesota is 114. We've seen that come up a couple times this year. Hold on, is there something with the White Sox? Don't see it. Trying to miss something with MLBN. 14. 41 the 13th prime. MLBN's also 41 the 13th prime. German going for 13th win. So yeah, this game's tricky today, but Gibson, if he got the win, he would get that magic number 2-6, and that would put the Twins right on the path. We tried to look at tomorrow's pitchers, but it was tough to read as well. But I still just like the idea of the Twins being at 39 losses by the end of the series. So Orioles and Diamondbacks. Again, I like the Diamondbacks to win these first 2 games. They won yesterday. If they win today, the Orioles will fall to 3-9 versus the National League. Orioles 39, Arizona 39. Diamondbacks can get their 9th home win versus the Orioles today on the 23 date, 23 the 9th prime. The only concern for me about the Diamondbacks is if they lost today, tomorrow's a 43-date numerology, the 14th prime. They could get that 14th win all time against the Orioles tomorrow, but I still like this riddle right here the most, the 3 and 9. So let me check one more thing here. Arizona Diamondbacks. Baltimore Orioles is 89. So Kelly can actually become 8-9. Baltimore Orioles is 89. Yeah, I almost overlooked that. Okay. But yeah, I'm sticking with that thought about the Diamondbacks getting it done. And the Cubs and the Giants. Tomorrow's going to be a 25-date numerology. And we saw that tomorrow John Lester pitches for the Cubs. John Lester with a loss would become 9-7 tomorrow. 97, the 25th prime on the 25-date, Giants 25. So John Lester looks like he's good to lose tomorrow. And if the Giants didn't win today, they'd stay on 24 wins on the 24-date and could pick up that 25th win tomorrow on the 25-date. The pitchers make me nervous, though. Darvish, if he did lose today, would get his 50th loss. And as we know, San Francisco's 50. Bumgarner, I mean, he could possibly win, but I keep thinking he's going to stay at, you know what? I think Chicago Cubs was 91, isn't it? Chicago Cubs was 91? Yeah. How did I forget that? Chicago Bears is also 91. Remember last year on September 1st, the Bears traded for Khalil Mack on 9-1. So Bumgarner can actually get his 91st loss. I almost slept on that. Chicago Cubs equals 91. And then that would keep Bumgarner from advancing. Because I want Bumgarner to stay on those 115 wins and get traded to a National League team so I can get that final clue for the World Series. I think that is going to be the final clue. If he wins one, though, it's going to mess that up. So, all right, Bumgarner, actually, that would be the perfect team to get his 91st loss against. Bumgarner's 9-2 versus the Cubs. I'm going to take the Cubs today just on the thought that tomorrow would be perfect for the Giants to get their 25th home win. Again, John Lester falling to 9-7. I'm going to ride with that. So I'm going to take that thought and run with it. Okay, the LA Angels game starting at 7:10. LA Angels 71. Tyler Skaggs dead on 7-1. I like the Angels to upset the Dodgers here. Dodgers are pretty big favorites. Pena would become 11-8 with the Angels with a win. Los Angeles, California equals 118 on the 118th meridian. Osmus would get his 53rd win, as would the Angels. Los Angeles 53. And what was the other one here? The Dodgers would get their 69th loss versus the Angels today on a 69-date numerology with a loss. Tomorrow, the Angels have Ross Stripling on the mound. He's 4-3. So if the Dodgers won tomorrow with Stripling, he'd become 5-3. Los Angeles 53 in the Battle of Los Angeles. The Dodgers would get their 41st home win, and they would become 1-3 against the Angels for the season, like LA 41-13. So to me, that looks like the better LA rituals. Today, Pena has the better LA numbers. Tomorrow, Stripling has the better LA numbers. What I said earlier is if the Dodgers won today, I would take the Angels tomorrow. So my strategy would be to bet the Angels 2 days in a row if they lost today, because you'd still come out ahead. They're going to be big underdogs both games. I don't see how they don't get that 53rd win in the Battle of LA. But it looks better for the Angels today. They have date numerology. They got a pitcher riddle that makes sense. And yeah, those are the thoughts. The Rangers and the Mariners. Yesterday, the Mariners picked up their 41st win on the 41 date. The Rangers picked up their 41st loss in the AL on the 41 date. Plus, you had that number of the beast ritual, which went in favor of the Mariners winning. And so today, with the 42 date, Mariners can get their 42nd win, and the Rangers can become 42-42 in the AL. And if the Rangers lost today, they'd pick up their 9th straight loss. 9 represents completion. Baseball, a game of 9s. They'd get their 9th straight loss on the 23rd of the month, 23, the 9th prime. The concern for today is the Mariners pitcher. His numbers aren't good this year. And if he lost, oh, whoops, I was overlooking that. So anyway, Malone's 47-41, and he's 1-4 for the season. He could get his 42nd loss on the 42 date, or he could become 2-4. If he lost, he'd be 1-5 for the season, a bit like 47, the 15th prime. Seattle on the 47th parallel. He's 4-5 versus the Rangers. If he lost, he'd be 4-6. So, but you know what? Yesterday, the concern for the Mariners was their pitcher as well. They still won. It went with the date numerology, so could very well be the same type of thing today. Hold on, we got a caller here. Caller.
Hey, how's it going, Chad?
It's going all right.
Hey, so the game for the Tampa Bay and the Red Sox. Chris Taylor is on the mound. He's playing on the road. Yesterday, the game, they had the Rays. They're so taxed with a bullpen. I mean, they actually put a position player, a third baseman, to pitch the 9th inning.
I see.
And this is really the Rays are so hamstrung by the lack of attendance and revenue that they have pioneered some very creative strategies to field competitive teams, such as using an opener to begin games. One of the consequences of relying on so many bullpen arms because of a lack of starters is not having enough guys to pitch in 5-run games. So that's something to be mindful. And also that Seattle Mariners and Texas Rangers game. So right now, 8 losing game streak for the Rangers, right?
Right.
So they're going for their. So they actually right now have a lot of 5-0. Right now the record 50-50, a 500 percentage winning percentage. So either they're gonna join the Seattle Mariners with a losing record, or they're gonna go on the plus side. So I'm thinking maybe, who knows? I think Texas might get a chance tonight.
You liked Texas yesterday too. Remember, like I said, perfect city to go.
I did not say that.
You said you didn't like their losing streak continuing. You were saying they're due for the win, but I said perfect city for them to get their 8th straight loss against, because Seattle's 19, the 8th prime, and today they can get their 9th straight loss, and 9's completion. Today's the 23rd, 23, the 9th prime. So remember, T-Mobile Park. T-Mobile Park equals 50.
They're not going to get swept. I mean, they're not going to get swept again. That's my main point. Right?
Yeah, I don't think they'll get swept either. So,
but no, I don't know. I'm going to look. When you take a look at the 500, 50-50 record. Maybe I don't know.
T-Mobile Park equals 50. I went over that yesterday. That's why it makes sense for them to be 50-50 at T-Mobile Park.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right.
All right.
So I just want to put that out there.
All right. Thanks, Izzy. See you, man.
All right.
Okay. So the Yankees on a losing streak. Blue Jays on a losing streak. Let's see here. Twins 1, 2, 3. Okay. Astros could win 7 in a row today. We know the Rangers could lose 9 in a row. Would probably be the end if they lost. Marlins Marlins can end their losing streak. All right, the only riddle I'm seeing with the losing streaks that's standing out to me is that potential 9th loss on the 23rd of the month, 23 and 9. I love that prime number pairing. And that's what we were saying too. If the Astros win tomorrow, they'd get their 43rd win versus the AL on the 43 date over the Mariners in their 43rd season. 43 is the 14th prime, end equals 14. They could end the losing streak by picking up that 43rd win. Sort of be a 14 riddle. But let me check out what's going on in the chat. And if we don't have anything going on in the chat, I'll put up the review video. So let's see. Looks like we're talking football in the chat. It's almost football season. Let me see. I see lots of football. Maybe it's because I mentioned Khalil Mack. Somebody likes the Lions, the Jaguars, the Bengals, and the Panthers, all the cat teams to win their division. That would be a big payout because those would be some big upsets there. Got to work on your Bengal spelling, but yeah, I hear you, man. It could be with the Cats off season. Aaron's thinking sweeps are going down today, but is there any series that can end today? I don't think any series ends today. Martin says I don't involve the chat, which isn't true. I just been going through the games. It's because baseball takes so long to go through. You know, I can't do an 8-hour chat every day. Baseball is just like football, but you have to do it every day of the week. And plus, I have a phone number for you guys to call into. So, I mean, if you got something to say, you can always call the phone number. But yeah, I'm just trying to, you know, keep this thing from being, you know, 6-hour live stream every single day. What I don't understand is how anyone can complain about what I do. You guys pay $5 a month and you get a ton of content. All right, so all right, I'm gonna put up the review video. We're still waiting until just those days where it's just like, oh, look how that lines up, look how that lines up, look how that lines up. It seems like it's been too much of a drought, but I know it's gonna show up here, so just waiting for that to come. But there's still some decent plays today, so. And we've been doing all right, even though it's been a little bit of a cold stretch in terms of game alignments. So, all right, look for that review video. Remember, tomorrow's the day that we do baseball and golf. And then before you know it, it's going to be football season. So, you know, looks like that's what you guys are into. All right, we'll leave it there. Till next time, Truth Seeker.